everyone. This is the June 11, 2025 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. It's being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and then entering access code 942-845-549. Or you can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners. They're also available on the town's website, and the public is encouraged to follow along using the agenda that's also been posted on the town's website. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission. Before we begin, let me check in or confirm that members are available and are here. Ricky Arizmi.
Here.
Michelle Colross. Can you answer, Michelle?
Are we waiting for somebody else, or can I not hear you guys?
The meeting has started. Can you hear me?
No, she did not.
Meeting has to
I could hear you, Michelle, but I haven't heard anything else.
the meeting has to be started.
Either.
Actually, click the mic. Can you hear us now?
This is what's
Yep.
Yes.
But you're echoing.
Can you hear us now?
Turns it off.
Yeah, but you're echoing.
All right, well, we'll deal with that.
Now.
Chris, what do you think?
It has to be started.
Okay.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Time. All right, let's try this again. So, again, good evening, everyone.
How about if
This is the June 11th, 2025 open meeting of the Town of Auburn Conservation Commission. It's being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and then using access code 942-845-549. Or you can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners and also are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission. And before we begin, let me confirm that our members are in attendance. When I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. Ricky Arizmi.
Here.
Michelle Colross.
here?
Mark Scalamo.
Here.
Tom Fallon.
Here.
All right. And also note that this hearing is being recorded, or meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. So without further ado, and again, apologizing for the delay.
I think Mark's here too.
Mark has also answered in the affirmative, Michelle. We're good.
Sorry, I missed that part.
Okay, no worries. First
Okay.
on our agenda, 7 p.m. public hearing, Solitude Lake Management Notice of Intent to control nuisance and invasive aquatic vegetation at Eddy Pond in Auburn, Mass. Is there a motion to open?
Motion to open.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Is anyone here on behalf of Solitude?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Dominic Maringolo from Solitude.
Good evening, sir. Again, apologize for the little glitch we had at the beginning, but I'm glad you're here.
Not a problem, not a problem.
All right, can you give us an overview?
Sure. We're here on behalf of the town of Auburn to kind of reinitiate the management program at Eddy Pond. Eddy Pond has 3 non-native invasive species, variable water milfoil, curly leaf pondweed, and fanwort. We had been managing this pond for many years. In 2021, we filed a new NOI for all of the ponds in Auburn that are being managed. And at that time, a natural heritage issue came up for a endangered, I believe it was a butterfly and a dragonfly. So that was in 2021. It's taken a while for us to kind of work with Natural Heritage and another consultant as well that did habitat surveys, and we've come up with a plan that is protective of these species and has been approved by Natural Heritage. So we are, as we've had in the past, we are doing monthly surveys of the pond to identify areas of the non-native species. We're conducting US EPA, Massachusetts approved aquatic herbicides to control areas of these species to maintain the habitat and the ecology of these ponds, and basically maintain some open water, maintain a beneficial native plant growth, and control these non-native species. So we would like to, so we now have everything kind of in order with Natural Heritage, and we'd like the commission to approve an order of conditions to allow us to restart the management of these plants in Eddy Pond.
Okay, can you?
So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, thank you. If you can just describe briefly, what type of herbicide should you be using?
So we have we've included the use of Diquat herbicide, which is kind of a multi-purpose product, Priscillachlor,
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay,
which is specific for milfoil control, and flumioxazin, which is specific for fanwort control. So we're trying to get the right tools in the toolbox for the 3 different species that are in the lake. And we also do, just to also say, we have also managed some water lily growth on the pond. This is not it is a native species. But as you folks know, the southern half of Eddy Pond, so the Eddy Pond in its entirety is 118 acres. We only manage about 54 acres or so, the northern part. The southern part of the pond is very shallow, stumpy, lots of material there. So that is also the location of the habitat for the rare species, so it kind of worked out well. So we're staying away from the southern part of the pond. That we do also have included glyphosate herbicide to manage water lilies from encroaching further north from the southern half of the pond.
and when would you propose to begin the work?
Right away, we've been kind of inspecting the ponds for the last couple of years. So we would probably want to try to get the milfoil treatment in as soon as possible, preferably before the end of June. But whatever the timeline is that works for the commission, we'll probably try to get out there as soon as possible thereafter.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have no other questions. Are there any other questions from the commission?
No.
No, I'm good, Mike.
Michelle, any questions?
Nope.
Okay. In that case, is there a motion to close?
I motion to close.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Thank you, sir. Again, I apologize for the technical issues, but thanks for hanging in there.
That's okay, no problem. Have a good evening, folks. Thank you.
Thank you. The next matter on our agenda is a 7:05 public hearing, Thomas Johnson. Notice of intent to replace a failed septic system and install a private well at 427 Leicester Street. Is there a motion?
Motion open.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 It's a vote. Mr. Dubois, good evening, sir.
How you doing?
Good.
For the record, Jason Dubois, DC Engineering and Survey. As you mentioned, 427 Leicester Street, owned by Thomas Johnson. This property does have a failed septic system on the property. It's a cesspool currently. We're proposing a new Presby type, alternative type septic system on the property. Doing so, they also will need to replace their well. The lot is very small. It's a 1-bedroom house. So we'll be putting the well in the front by the street. The septic system will go in the back, and the septic tanks will go in the vicinity of where the cesspool currently is.
Okay.
I guess something unique about this property with the wetlands is they're off the property. There is a perennial stream that we located and we showed the, the riparian zones. But the wetland that is off the property, we showed the approximate buffer zone. The septic system is within the buffer zone. The owner didn't really want to trespass on the neighbor's property for whatever reasons in the past. He did go there today to see if he would mind, but I guess nobody's been there for like 3 weeks
Okay,
at the house, at the property.
all right.
So, I mean, he said if absolutely necessary, we'll just go out and just flag it, but he just didn't feel comfortable to go on the guy's property. And
Understood. Is there tension between the two property owners?
he didn't really elaborate. I think there's some issues. but-
Okay, all right. I think, as you know, we'd like to take a look.
Yep.
So with your permission, we would continue this to our next meeting, which is on June 25th. That would enable us a chance to go out there, maybe talk to the adjacent property owner and have a better look-see.
Sure.
If that's agreeable.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, you'll talk to the neighbor?
We'll see. I'll knock on the door.
Yeah.
If they answer, then we'll have a conversation.
Okay.
Any questions from the board?
No questions?
Michelle?
No
No.
questions here, Mike.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? There being none, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 427 Leicester Street to 6:25 at 7:05, Tom?
You can do 7 o'clock.
Okay, at 7 o'clock?
Sure.
I second that motion.
Well, I didn't make it, so you need to make.
Oh. I motion to move the 427 Leicester Street to, what's the date?
6:25
6/25/2025.
at 7 p.m.
o'clock.
Okay, is there a second?
A second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. You're all set.
Do you schedule a site walk or just?
I have to meet everyone
Okay.
summertime,
Yeah,
so
you understand.
we'll get out there one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll make sure we see it before the next meeting.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Right. The next matter on our agenda is CSX, a request for determination of applicability to manage vegetation within the railroad right-of-way as part of their 5-year vegetation management plan. That was a 7:10 public hearing. Is there a motion to open?
I motion to open.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's a vote. Is anyone here on behalf? Well, yes, hello.
Hello.
So this was on our agenda on May 28th and no one appeared, so we requested that you come. So
Yeah.
you came, this is great. So give us sort of, if you could, an executive summary of what you want to do.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Kip Callahan. I'm here from VHB representing CSX. I apologize that we didn't have a representative last time. There was a miscommunication about that.
Okay.
So I'm here presenting this RDA on behalf of CSX as part of the process associated with their vegetation management plan for 2025 to 2029.
Okay.
The vegetation management plan itself covers the operational details, what herbicides are going to be used, et cetera. And that vegetation management plan is approved at the state level through the Massachusetts Department of Agriculture through a separate process. But overall, as part of that, we are required to bring the plans to the different towns to approve the wetland boundaries / spray boundaries associated with that. And this is an intersection of the regulations under the WPA and 333 CMR 11, which are the right-of-way management regulations for the pesticide board. And essentially, those regulations stipulate that herbicide cannot be sprayed within 10 feet of wetlands and within certain areas based on drinking water protection regulations. Essentially, what CSX is proposing is they need to do vegetation management along the railroad to prevent woody vegetation from interfering with the operation of the trains, but also to reduce fire hazards from dead herbaceous vegetation. So sparks from braking and also from rail grinding can pose a big fire hazard if there's a lot of dead vegetation on the railroad. What they do every year is they hire a licensed spray contractor to do the spraying. That contractor will use a truck that's equipped with a high rail system. So that's the system that allows them to lower train wheels from an otherwise roadworthy vehicle. In the past, the truck typically has something like a 400-gallon tank. They'll mix an improved herbicide, which is, the details are laid out in that vegetation management plan. They'll mix an approved herbicide in the tank. They'll get on the tracks. They drive down the tracks at about 10 miles an hour. There's a low pressure boom at the back of the truck that sprays the herbicide onto the ballast. So the ballast being the stones that support the rails and the ties of the railroad. That spray pattern is about 12 feet from the center line of the tracks. So 24 feet in total, but 12 feet to either side. Taking into account that 10-foot buffer required under the regulations in terms of proximity to the wetland. The spray zones that we have shown here for no spray zones, basically any wetland that's within 22 feet of the center line of the track. I can kind of run through these plans real quick. So this first page just has an overview map. So each of these red rectangles represents the different pages in the plan to show for context where this is. Basically, this is on the west side of town. The tracks run north-south and pass through a more rural part of the town. The way that these plans are structured is primarily we are depicting 3 important spray zones. So there are blue zones. Those are limited to 1 spray per year. From an operational standpoint, there's not really a distinction between the blue zones and the other zone and the unmarked zones because they only spray herbicide once per year. There's purple zones. These are limited spray zones, so these can only be sprayed every other year. And these are primarily related to drinking water supplies. So you can see on this page, there's a wellhead and associated wellhead protection area. And so the spray is limited to every other year within that wellhead protection zone. And then finally, there are no spray areas. So those are the yellow areas depicted. There are some cases where if there's a zone 1 near the tracks, it'll be no spray for drinking water protection in zone 1, but primarily the yellow areas are associated with proximity to wetlands.
Okay.
Just to note, you'll see there are call-outs on the plans for a few of these areas. I'll kind of point out some examples, but primarily what's going on here is you'll see on this first page, I think this is the first page. First page, for example, there'll be a no spray zone only on one side of the tracks. And you'll see there's a stream depicted, and you might wonder, well, why, if there's a stream depicted crossing the tracks, is there only a no spray zone on one side? And that's because we went out last fall, we rode this whole line to field verify where the wetland locations were and to mark the spray zones. So we used oil-based paint to mark these different zones. So if you were coming into a no spray zone, you'd have paint a blue line on the track, then a yellow line. Then as you exit, it would be yellow line to blue, so that regardless of the direction of travel, the operators understand where these zones are. And in cases like this, we measured, there's a culvert going underneath the tracks, obviously, the stream has to be conveyed underneath. And so in cases where it's biased on one side like this, in this case, on the north side of the tracks, that culvert opening was within 22 feet of the center line, meaning that if we sprayed on that side, herbicide would be within, would be too close to the wetland, but the culvert opening on the south side here was more than 22 feet away, so that herbicide can be sprayed legally on this side of the tracks because it's sufficiently far from the wetland. The operators have a control panel at the front of the vehicle so they can control the direction of the spray. So when they approach an area like this and they see the way we paint this is the no spray yellow and blue are just painted on the north side of the tracks. They know, okay, I've got to turn off the herbicide on the north side. and they'll continue spraying on the south side. In cases like this where it's the whole thing, they'll just turn it off at the beginning and turn it back on at the end. For the most part, we can just kind of quickly run through the plans. On this page, there's just buffer zone. On the next page, there's some more buffer zone. On the following pages, we have additional buffer zone and some stream crossings where, once again, those culvert openings are sufficiently far away from the center line of the track that we're not worried about spray going within 10 feet of where the water is. And we have another stream with the same situation on the next page,
So, I mean, again,
et
this
cetera.
is a rough calculation, but just looking at the first page, it looks like it's about a 4-mile stretch along the track.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure offhand.
I understand. I'm just going by the legend at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it looks like, based on the depiction, that you're really spraying very limited areas along that track.
Well, no, so we're spraying the entire length of the track.
Okay,
So anywhere where there's not a zone depicted, that is where spraying is occurring.
and that will be done yearly?
That'll be done yearly.
Okay,
And so the only areas where no spray is occurring are these purple zones and the yellow zones.
gotcha.
So every other year, so I believe this year, to sync it up with other territory, is going to be a no spray year for these every other year limited spray. So there'll be no spray in the purple zones this year,
Okay,
but they'll be sprayed next year.
Uh-huh.
And then there'll obviously be no spray in the yellow zones at all. But the whole rest of the length of the track will be sprayed.
were they sprayed last year?
I think they were, yes.
Okay, all right,
Well, the yellow zones were not, but the
Right.
length of the track was.
okay. All right, I think I have it. Ricky, any questions?
Yeah, my only question, I think I have a few questions. So in regards of the yellow zone over the stream, I'm assuming this is not gonna be done on a rainy day so that the site has time to dry.
Correct. So the licensed operators are the ones applying the herbicide. And there are regulations, both state regulations about application of herbicide, but then also all these herbicides have labels associated with them, and they're regulated so that the operators are required to follow instructions on the label. So there are both wind and rain
Okay.
requirements.
Can we get a copy of the list of herbicides that will be used?
So you should have received a notice, and I don't know, Tom, if you have a copy of this, but Keith Morris sent a notification letter to the commission as part of that approval process for the vegetation management plan.
Okay,
That letter, so he's another consultant, but he's the one that's handling that
Right.
operational side of
okay,
things.
yes,
That letter has links to the state website where that vegetation management plan and the yearly operational plan are publicly available. And I believe that letter also has some details about what potential herbicides could be used, because there's a state-approved list,
okay,
and the contractor will use one off of that list.
okay.
And so those operational details are available.
Tom, do you know if we got that letter?
Yeah, I thought it was in the packet right here.
Okay.
Yeah,
It could very well be in the
that's where we
packet.
saw that name, Tom.
Oh, the same package?
Yeah, like kind of towards the back.
Okay.
I think it's left in there.
That's Solitude, that's not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In any event, could you see if we can get another copy if we didn't receive it?
And if you don't have a copy, I can give Keith a call and ask him to forward one.
Yeah, I'm not seeing one, so. Yes, Ms. Quayle, do you have something to add?
Yes, thank you. I would just like to ask a question. Hi, thank you very much. I think we spoke on the phone.
Yeah.
There was a few questions that had come up. As part of the plan, does, obviously you're spraying the length of the track along the length of area. Are there anything in the plan that identifies what streets that the spraying is near? That was a question that was asked.
So you can see on the, I don't know if you can see on the
Yes.
plans, but the streets are labeled on the plan, so, you know, that provides context for where this is. So you can see this is Rockdale Street, this is West Street, etc.
So on the actual plan, it will show what streets they're near, just like for anywhere that you're spraying.
Yeah, so yeah, this is just aerial photos with, you know, this was produced in GIS. And so this is what's available.
Okay. And then you had identified some no spray zones
Yep.
for the yellow, and I think you're indicating you spray, you indicated on the track, so the operator knows when to spray.
Correct.
It's the purple.
That's why, so I know,
Okay.
Are
No, we have
those, like, are
So I'll
there
get copies
physical
and send out to you.
signs
Okay, that's fine.
that are
Thank you.
posted near any of the neighborhoods? Because that was another question that came to us.
No, there's no sign posted.
Okay.
If there's a notice that is provided in the newspaper, but there's no signs.
Okay, so that is upon the responsibility for the sprayer, the contract sprayer, to know where to spray and not to spray.
Correct.
Okay,
But, so we also send along, so our company accompanies the contracted sprayer with these plans on a tablet with a GPS device, so that we can help work with the operator to make sure that they know when the no spray zones are coming up. And so if for some reason, you know, down the road a marking is faded or a tie's been replaced, we've always have the paper plans and digital plans with a GPS.
okay, thank you. And just one final thing.
Yep.
For those environmental notifications for the spray chemicals that you use, that's all included in the notification that you have in the letter that went to us, went to the town.
I'm sorry, can you,
The environmental notifications for the chemicals you use,
I'm not sure what you mean by environmental.
like MSD sheets.
So I don't believe the MSDS are included in any of the materials that we have, but they're, you know, those are publicly available.
I think in the past, if I can recall, I think we've requested those in the past when you've come before us.
Okay.
So I think that's something we may want to see.
Okay,
You know.
yeah, I think that's, you know, like I said, kind of the scope of this hearing is to cover these wetland boundaries. I think we could direct that request to Keith, since he's the one, he's kind of handling those operational details.
And we actually did find the letter. It was dated April 4th, so that's why it was in a previous packet.
Okay, great.
Michelle and Mark, any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Michelle?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Any questions, other questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
Just a quick question.
Well, hold on. First of all,
Sorry.
I need your name and also your address.
Jeff Oliver, 191 South Street in
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
First meeting, so I apologize.
No worries.
So on the spraying, I had hoped to ask questions about the pond particularly, but
Okay.
it wasn't offered. That I just don't understand how it works, so that's my fault. So in the no spray zones, how do you control the vegetation?
To be honest, I don't work for CSX. I don't know the operational details. I think if they have problematic woody vegetation, they'll send someone out and they'll cut it by hand. As far as the herbaceous vegetation, I know sometimes that just is left as is. If it's not a problem, like I've seen when we've ridden the tracks, especially where there are bridges, you can tell where they stop spraying because there's dead grass. But otherwise, I think they're doing it manually.
Mr. Oliver, do you have an issue with vegetation near 191 South Street?
We do have railroad tracks there, but just the use of chemicals in general.
Understood.
The issue was bigger with the pond, which is adjacent to our home.
I got it. Understood. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah. I guess I'll end my questions there.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I mean, we've gotten these requests for determination in the past from the railroad to control the vegetation. To the best of my knowledge, it's done safely. It's done with no environmental degradation or any risk either to people or to animals. So I'm inclined to close the public hearing, but if anyone disagrees, I'll be happy to consider it. Ricky, you have an opinion on that?
I do not disagree.
Okay. Mark?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Michelle? Michelle, any questions? Okay. Michelle, if you can hear us, here you go. Nope. Michelle? All right, we need 4 votes to close. Michelle, we need you to log back on to continue.
Well, sorry.
That's okay.
Just got to the airport and I couldn't find my phone. Okay.
No problem.
So, okay. No, I don't have any questions.
All right.
And I'm going to let my family check in and I will sit for the next meeting. So, yeah, we're good.
All right, so Michelle, before you, are you going to be boarding a plane shortly?
Yep.
Like how many more minutes do we have you for?
Well, I'm gonna let them check in and I'm gonna sit through the next 2. So as soon as we can get through them, it's gonna be good.
All right, I understand. All right, thank you. In that case, is there a motion to close the public hearing?
A motion to close.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's a vote. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Now, the next matter on our agenda would be Eastland Partners for 50 Washington Street. I'm going to do something unusual. We need to issue an order of conditions for 319 Washington Street, which is not related to 50 Washington Street. It's across the street, further up the road. And we're obliged to do it because if we don't do it tonight, then the order of conditions will be issued by default. And so I'm going to defer 50 Washington Street for a few moments so we can act on the order of conditions for 319 Washington Street. So, Ricky, this is gonna be your baptism under fire, my friend. So, what we normally do is we would issue a standard order, which is a standard of conditions contained or provided by the DEP, and then the town has their own special order of conditions.
Okay.
I can tell you that in doing this for almost 30 years, we generally will impose our own or add on our own order of conditions. And so in order to issue the order of conditions for 319 Washington Street, I need a motion to issue the standard order plus special conditions. And because Mark and Michelle are not around or available, I will walk you through it. Is that okay?
Okay.
Perfect. So is there a motion for 319 Washington Street?
I'd open the motion.
Go ahead, Mark. You're right. Go ahead, Mark. You go first.
Yeah, I make a motion to issue the standard order of conditions for 319 Washington Street.
Plus special conditions.
Plus special conditions, yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, yep.
So you have the list. I will tell you generally, we agree with, we impose number 1, number 2, number 3. There's no replication on the site. Number 5, number 8, and number 9. So do you want to add any special conditions, Ricky?
For my knowledge, for 319 Washington Street,
Yes,
I
sir.
believe that is before I joined.
But we actually voted on this while you were a member.
Okay.
So I'll read through them. So 1 says there's no storage, maintenance, or refueling of construction equipment or other machinery within the 100-foot buffer zone of wetlands or the 200-foot riparian zone. Do you agree to add that as a special condition?
I agree.
Okay. Number 2 is prior to the board issuing a certificate of compliance, we have the applicant provide an as-built plan showing that the work they proposed in their notice of intent was actually performed, and that the as-built plan shows what was done at the site. Do you agree with number 2?
I agree with number 2. I also agree with number 3.
Okay,
I agree with number 5.
okay,
I agree with number 6.
okay. It basically says that the applicant has to comply with the order of conditions that we issue.
I believe I agree with number 9.
Okay, and that's the no storage of snow, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have number 8? The order conditions shall be subject to each and every condition stated therein?
Yes, I do agree with number
Okay,
8.
so we have a motion from Mark for a standing order plus the following special conditions: 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 9. Is there a second? You can second that, Ricky.
Oh, I second, sorry.
Okay, is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right, it's a vote. All right, thank you, Michelle, I appreciate it. All right, now back to our agenda. The next item on our agenda is the 7:15 public hearing. Eastland Partners, a notice of intent to construct a pad race site at 50 Washington Street. Is there a motion to open?
I motion to open.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, is there any
Nope.
discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
All right, it's a vote. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Try to make this quick. I know some people are traveling. I'll give everybody an update,
Okay, please
which
do.
will allow us to be expeditious.
All right, I'm in favor of that.
So what's going to allow us to be expeditious, for the record, Jim Bernardino, Turning Point Engineering, representing the applicant, 50 Washington Street. We've just got word on my drive-in from DEP today that they're still reviewing the application, so no file number yet. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, before the next meeting, we'll receive a file number and any comments that they may have.
So therefore,
So
we can't close tonight.
therefore, we cannot close tonight.
So do you agree to continue the public hearing to June 25th
Yes.
at 7:05?
Yes.
I don't like that. Is there a motion?
I motion to continue the meeting at June 26th at 7:05.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
The 25th.
25th, June 25th, my apologies.
Okay, is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, it's a vote. Not to cut you off, but there's no point.
I'll come back next
Okay,
time.
thank you, appreciate it. All right, thank you. And then, sorry, folks.
People are busy, we need to get on planes. It's still steamy.
Yeah, it's a little ripe, isn't it?
That's all right. I only have to suffer for a little bit, not all night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the 7:20 public hearing has been continued to June 25th, 2025. I think given the fact that Mark, first of all, Megan is not available, Mark and Michelle are joining us virtually, and Michelle's on the verge of taking a flight. I thought it wise to continue the executive session to our meeting on June 25th. So if any of you have questions about the subject matter, you are free to contact me. I also think that I would prefer to have members present when we go over the meeting minutes for May 28th. Having said that, we need, we close the public hearing for the notice of intent for Solitude Lake Management. We also close the hearing for request determination of applicability. Now, the options we have are to, we have 21 days to make a decision Our next meeting will be within the 21-day window. So given, and I want to make sure I have everyone's participation, so I'm inclined to not act on the notice of intent for Solitude Lake Management or the request for determination of applicability for CSX until the meeting on June 25th. If members of the commission, and I mean specifically you, Mark, and you, Michelle, have a different opinion, please let me know.
I would love that because I had notes all over my stuff. So that would be fabulous if we could do that.
All right.
Yes.
Mark, is that agreeable to you too?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm agreed to that.
And again, look, this is the summertime, people have obligations, and I appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedules to attend tonight. It means a lot to the town, it means a lot to me personally, so thanks again.
I can actually walk through security with my family now too, so that's fabulous. Yes.
Yeah, I think Eric would really like that, so I agree.
Yes. Yeah.
In that case, I don't think there's any new business, is there?
Real quick through the chair.
Yes, sir.
So, do you agree it might be better to do the site visit closer on the 21st?
Yes.
Saturday, a week from Saturday, when we have more people present?
Yeah, I think so. And I'll make sure that Megan is brought up to speed on this. All right, if there's no new business, is there a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, so vote. All right, again, thank you, everyone. Enjoy your vacations, your trips, and we'll see you in a couple
Thanks.
weeks.
Thanks, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Thanks. Bye.